Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Tutors Talking. And I am your lovely host, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring, as well as the You Can Tutor Mentor community. And it's such a great pleasure to have another great tutor to have as your arsenal, to another great tutor for your networking, and all in all, a great person that you just need to get to meet. So let me introduce to you Miss Jennifer Brush. Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, I am doing well. How are you, Miss Audrey?
I am doing well. Just trying to bear this heat. I don't know. It's driving. The hair has nothing. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
kinds of cray.
I feel like
But
it's better when I don't wash it so it doesn't poof out as much. So,
this is like we're like a couple of days from full on 70s afro. But that's how things are.
you can
So if
rock it.
anything, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I just about a week ago retired from the classroom.
Oh, wow.
I had in my years, so I took it as a sign that my 55th birthday fell on the last day of school and I had my 30 years. So, sign was it's time. But I wasn't ready to go. So, I struggled with the decision for a very long time. And once I put in my notice, which was irrevocable, I panicked and I thought, I am not ready to leave teaching, but I am ready to leave the classroom. I am ready to leave the world of where I felt like I had no control anymore, and that was not good for me. So I thought, hey, I was afraid, so afraid to do online learning during pandemic, and now like this is our world. This is our world now. We do so much online. And I think the good thing about the pandemic is it did open up so much technology things with virtual meetings, virtual interviews, virtual jobs. So I thought, why can't I do this on the
Right.
road, take it on the road or
Right.
in my house? So I decided to start figuring out how to do tutoring. And luckily, I fell upon this angel named Audrey, who just was in the right place at the right time, or I was in the right place at the right time. I'm not an Instagram person, but I wanted to branch out. I didn't really want to flood Facebook with all my stuff yet. I wasn't ready to do that. So I
Mhm.
thought, well, I can start with Instagram and see how that works. And the minute I set up that profile, I started following some other math tutors, and I was following you, and you sent me a little voice clip, and we set up a meeting. And I thought, this woman is too good to be true. Like, she knows her stuff and she really wants to help me. And then the rest became history. So I was wanting to wait until school was over to start,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I started getting people. And originally, I wanted to focus on elementary math. I retired from second grade. I was in a K-4 building for the past 27, 28 years. The last stint was at second grade, and I loved seeing the math light bulbs go off. And math
Mhm.
was always something I struggled with. And I thought, whoa, my kids all love math because I struggled with it and I make it fun. So I was just going to focus on math. And people started saying, would you do reading? And so I opened up that door, and now I just signed up my fifth student.
Nice.
Yes. And I've been loving it. I really do love it. And I feel like the online is working. I love it. It saves time. It saves a lot. And kids are so knowledgeable. I mean,
Mhm.
this is their life. Their
Right.
life. And so I feel like it's so much easier for them and it's entertaining for them. And when you're done, you can just say goodbye.
Right. Like, do you ever get any kind of pushback from, like, say, the parents? Like, I'm not sure if this will work for my child because they probably initially called to see, okay, you do tutor.
Yep.
Oh, so where can we meet up? And you're like, oh, this is going to be online. So I
Yes.
know I get that all the time. Like, what
Mhm.
is it that you kind of like tell the parents in order to kind of get that initial?
So if it's a local person, it's a little bit harder because they want to meet you somewhere. Um, but what I've been doing, so if it is a local person, I have been doing an initial visit, but then doing my assessment in person, meeting the parents, meeting the family, and then bringing them into my online world. So I've been able to branch those people over and kind of convince them that yes, this does work. And once they see a session in action, and their kid really enjoys the session in action, and you know, they don't have to drive anywhere to meet. Um, it's hard when you go into people's houses. I mean, I did that years ago, and it's awkward. It's
Mhm.
uncomfortable. It's a little, and then you have the kid, Mom, can I have something to drink? Mom, can I have something? So, I mean, it happens online too, but the people that I've had from out of my area,
Mhm.
same thing. I just, I start that conversation and then I tell them, let's set up a time to meet with your student, with you, and we'll do a little session and see how it goes. And boom, every time has been like no questions asked. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Now, when it comes to the actual sessions, like what are you starting to see? Like, I notice always patterns. Like for me, it's the multiplication and the fractions and like what's kind of missing. Like, what are some of the things that you're seeing almost like in a pattern with your sessions?
Basically, definitely with math, those facts, the kid, they don't know their facts, and then in the classroom, we have to keep moving, and so in every classroom that these kids are in, no matter where they live, it's the same thing. The teacher has to move on, so the gap gets wider and wider. The more if you don't have those facts, it's everything's going to just get harder. So I found filling in those, and it seems basic, but it has to be done. I have a fourth grader right now going into fifth grade. That's her problem, is the
Hmm.
fact fluency. She understands, like, once we're doing the subtraction of fractions with regrouping, which I did have to reteach myself that because I was like, what? I don't remember how to do this. She understands the concept. She knows what to do. So it's getting those facts in. And I was teaching her some of the tricks for multiplication because that was always something that threw me as a child. I didn't even know what multiplication was, and I couldn't understand how everybody was memorizing all these crazy, I thought they were all brilliant, and I was not. But just knowing that, oh, okay, so really you only have to learn those few, like 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. There's really only a few that you need to learn because the rest of them, there's so many tricks and
Hmm.
things for. So seeing those light bulbs go off was really cool too. With reading, again, it's the phonics, it's the sounds. There's so much with science of reading now and all these new programs going back. Now we're going back to phonics. We were doing the whole language reading. Now we're going back to phonics. And
Hmm.
again, these kids they're recognizing, a lot of them are recognizing the words in isolation and fast. But
Hmm.
once it's in context, they're sounding it out.
Hmm.
Even it and is. And if I flash up the word it, what does this say? It. See it in a sentence, and it throws them for a loop.
Throw some off.
So, again, reading, you're going to keep going. It's going to keep getting harder. And if you don't know those basic sight words, they don't teach them really after mid second grade. So
Mm.
we do a sight word assessment in second grade at the beginning of the year. But once they get into third grade, that's done. Like the sight words
Wow.
are done. So it becomes, on the parents, and it doesn't always happen. So
Right. I don't even think a lot of parents knew that.
No, I don't think so either. Everything, I mean, just everything is so different in the classroom. A lot of parents still think, that we are into like spelling. We do spelling test. You get
Hmm.
your words on Monday, you practice them all week. On Friday, you have the test, you move on. And that's not it. It's word study. So, it's not just recognizing those words and spelling those words. It's knowing how to use them correctly in a sentence. It's
Hmm.
knowing the different patterns. And with the English language, it's so crazy that, okay, EA makes the E sound like beaver, or I'm trying to think, leave, EA, leave. And then you see the word bread. It's like,
Right.
wait a minute. Wait,
Right.
you just told me that it makes the long E sound. What are you talking about? So it's really looking at those patterns and those rules and those, heart words, as they're calling them now, which I'm learning about that too, that there are just certain parts of a word that you have to memorize. Said, st, that AI doesn't follow the rules that we're used to.
Right.
So you have to know by recognizing, oh, that's a heart word, said, that AI says in this word instead of the AI. So
Oh, wow.
it's a lot.
Right. And
It
you
is a
wonder
lot.
why so many people have difficulty, like if they're coming from English as a second language, just
Oh,
trying to be able to, you're like, wait, what? How? Why? And you said it was just like you said, it said it was this, and now you're telling me this. Oh, but here's a special situation. And you wonder why so many
hmm,
people like really trip up on certain words and certain phrases because there's so many rules.
there are. And
And
it's funny, I taught fifth grade my first year teaching. I was like not much older than the kids, but I was in a Ukrainian Catholic school where the majority of the population was Ukrainian. And I had two kids from Ukraine who did not speak any English at all. And we had no support, no help. It was just figure it out. We didn't have a curriculum, it was teach them.
wow.
And we were reading, and it was here. And I said, okay, the word is here, here. And I said, like, listen here. Kid gets to the next word, and it's bear. And he said beer. And
Beer.
I said no. And he was mad, like he was livid because, and I was just like, oh, okay.
It's
I
just
get
trying to
you.
find that rule. And the same thing with math. Exactly the same thing. There's always so many rules. Like I have another kid that's doing integers, and he knows how to do the multiplication and how to set up equations. But anytime he got that positive and the negative, he's like, well, you told me that the rule was this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's for addition and subtraction. Right now we're multiplying and dividing.
Mm,
And it's just like just those small, like we will say it's small, but it's that foundational piece that it needs to be done and it needs to be said. So
absolutely.
this is probably like what will make you, this is a question for you, what
Hmm.
will make you unique, because there are tons of reading tutors and
Hmm.
math tutors for elementary, but what do you think makes you unique?
I think there's a few things. With the math, I think it was my struggle. My struggle makes me that much more passionate and that much more understanding of, I don't have a math brain. So I feel that I teach it well because I know what's going on in those little brains, where I know what it's like to struggle, and work through it and just understand. I have a student right now who the mom's like, I don't like, I do division, long division in my head. I always have. So I don't know what her problem is. So, she can't help her because it's
Right.
like, well, this is the answer because it is.
Right.
So I think breaking it down in terms of that. I think also my classroom experience and the experience at different levels, and the fact that I am still continuing to research and learn. And honestly, I feel like I just make it fun. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. But I feel like I've got that magnet
Mhm.
attraction to, hey, this is what we're going to do. And learning can be fun. We can have fun with this. And a lot of times, people are saying, oh God, the little ones, you should probably only do 30 minutes because their attention span. I'm like, that hour goes by
Yes.
fast,
Yes, it does.
really fast. Today I actually went over a half hour because the girl was alone and, well, with an older sister, and they couldn't get her sound to work. And I'm like, ooh, epic. What are we going to do? So mom was texting and saying, I can't get to the phone to help her right now because I'm in a meeting. We figured it out. Wrote
Right.
notes, used
Right.
the chat, did some like funny sign language.
Right.
I was making her laugh. She's a math student. We were talking about, bigger bottom borrow. She thinks that's hysterical. I'm like, is there a big bottom there? And she just thinks that is the funniest thing in the world. So I wrote on the screen BBB, and she's like, laughing. So we did the first, 40 minutes just pantomiming and, reading lips, and it worked.
Right.
It worked.
Oh,
So once
yeah.
the sound came back on, I just worked with her a little bit longer and we finished up. But a lot of the times they don't want to get off.
Right. See?
So,
Parents,
yeah.
listen up, because this is what you need. You want someone that
Yes.
is going to build that connection and that is going to understand your kids and understand the struggle. And I always say this to parents, just because you understand the math, because we also have some parents that are engineers. I love you. Big heart. There you go. But your kids are not exactly you.
No.
They're little snippets of you, but their learning style is going to be different.
Absolutely.
And don't say, oh, I don't want you to just keep playing games, because guess what? If the kid likes the games, it does make that hour go by so quickly. At the same time, all those little sayings is going to stick. So then when she gets into school and says she's learning something, and then she's like, oh wait, BBB. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And then
Is there a big bottom there?
right. And the teacher's going to be like, what is this? And like, it helps me. It
It's all
helps
right.
me. Right. And that's what you want. So, I mean, if it sounds like this is such a great connection for your child, and I told you she was awesome. Like I told you in the beginning, you thought I was lying to you. So we actually really want to know, like, how can we reach you? There's like a couple of places. So where's one place that we can find you?
So one place, Instagram, yes.
Okay.
I'm not a huge person on Instagram, and I need to do better. Now that I'm retiring, I'm gonna have a little bit more time, but I don't have a little bit more time on
No,
my
you
hands,
don't. I'm like, where did you find
unfortunately.
time?
But I need to start posting more on there, even if it's the same content, because I know not everybody, Instagram seems to be a more so than Facebook for a lot of people right now, and Facebook gets glitchy and people don't always love it. So I need to get that out there, but I do have my Instagram. I have LinkedIn,
Okay.
which has, I don't really post on there. I more filter, like read through there. So again, that's something I'm trying to learn. I have a Facebook business page, and I have some content on there. And I also have a Facebook group that if people want to join my group, they can just message me through Facebook Messenger, and then I can give you the link to the group.
Okay.
Which
What's
would
the
be
name of the
just
group?
So the group is, good question. I will find that. And then I do have a website as well,
I
that
definitely have
my
that.
angel Audrey helped me with. Well, she didn't help me with that, but with Canva, which has become my new best friend.
Yes.
And the group, oh my gosh.
And then while she's looking for that, she also has her email address. So if you want to email her directly, you can go to brushuptutoring@gmail.com. Just to get some information to chit chat, because I know some of you guys may be on social media. Some of you guys will prefer to actually have contact through emails instead of through social media, which is fine. So you do have some options. But again, while she's finding the group, we have our Instagram, which is JB Brush Up Learning. Then also we have our Facebook at Jennifer Brush at Master Elementary Teacher and Tutor, which is true. We have her website, which is brushuptutoring.com, which is K-4 reading and math tutoring, as well as her LinkedIn, almost skipped it, sorry, which is at Jennifer Brush. And then lastly, the email address, which is brushuptutoring@gmail.com.
Okay.
So,
Yes, that sounds amazing. This is called Brush Up Tutoring.
okay. Yeah, so if you go to Brush Up Tutoring, and if you want to join into her group,
Yes.
say that you're not, oh yeah, I'm not really ready for tutoring, but I want to kind of interact and just keep her in mind when preferably do not wait too long. One, she's going to fill up fast. I'm just going to let you know. So that's one. Two, when your child just needs like a couple tweaks here and there, it's best to try to grab it early instead of waiting until, I don't know, just before their examination, halfway of the semester. And that's when things are starting to get long. So go get the tutoring. If you know that your child struggles, even a little bit with reading, a little bit with math, just at least go, have a couple sessions, wait till school starts, okay, then really go full force, because I think that's the best part. A lot of parents like to wait, and then when you wait, you don't want to wait until you're really down in the dumps, and then you have to crawl your way out the whole entire time.
Absolutely. And classrooms, I mean, they're overcrowded.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger and bigger, and it's easy for kids to get lost. It really, really is, because we're moving fast. The curriculum and moves quickly.
Yes.
And these poor kids, they get left behind. Oftentimes, if they do qualify for reading or math services at the elementary level, they're pulled during an instructional time. So it's like, okay, now they're missing. I understand the premise. They need their facts, so they have to go, but now they're missing more of the instruction. And now, and same with reading. It just, they're missing important instructional time. And you don't want to make them miss their free time to go to it, because that's another. So it is so easy for kids to get lost in the classroom. And I've seen it, and it's hard. And it's hard to get them extra help in terms of like special ed services. That's another thing that just made me so upset. I'm like, why are we not helping these kids? Why are we having to come up with, find another strategy, find another strategy, find another strategy? And I'm like, okay, and what about the 21 other kids that need another strategy too? And it becomes, and then you're teaching reading, you're teaching math, you're teaching science, you're teaching social studies, word study, handwriting. And it's like, oh my goodness, I am not a magician. I cannot do this. I mean, I'm good, but yeah, not that good. So it does get frustrating, and kids are getting lost in the shuffle. I think that's the one thing that upsets me the most, is that there are so many kids out there that need tutoring, and it's sad.
Right.
I mean, it is sad. I love it. It's a blessing and a curse, because I feel for these parents. I have had parents, cry and say, I don't know what to do. I don't want them to continue to feel, fall further behind. And this is not helping. And that's sad.
Right. And there's only so much, like you said, that the teacher can do, because you have so many kids. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, go see the teacher after school. Okay, let's be real. Teachers love the kids, but they just spent 8 hours with them. And at the end of school time, they really don't want to. And then plus, not only your child is going to need assistance. It's going to be this kid. It's going to be that kid. It's going to be the kids that are being pulled out. And then all of a sudden, you got 8 kids sitting in your room after school, and you're repeating basically the same thing that you did before. And then parents are like, well, they're staying after school. I'm like, yes, but they're not really getting something that is really conducive to your child precisely.
Exactly.
It's something that, okay, I got a group of 8 of you. All right, let me see if I can get all 8 of you situated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we always say, not just to say, oh yeah, online tutoring, so we can make tons of money and all this stuff. No, because we're trying to give your child the time and the attention that they need. And
Mm-hmm.
then you'll see a difference. Like there is definitely going to be a tremendous amount of growth in a short amount of time because there's not that many distractions.
Yeah.
They're able to focus on what they need to focus on. And at the same time, now they're feeling confident. You're going to see like a massive change when it comes to just really getting the tutor underneath your arsenal. All right.
Absolutely. I agree.
All right. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate this. This was such a good time.
Thank you.
Um, and I hope everyone, please watch this video, reach out to Jennifer, even if you're like, I'm not sure if I will, but especially those transitional years, people are going from third grade to fourth grade, from kindergarten to first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to Jennifer, talk to her, use that as your resource and do it today. All right.
I'm
Yes.
here.
Thanks again for watching on
Thank
Two Tutors
you.
Talking, and we'll see you next